These horns, friends. I knew I was in for something different when I first booted up this main menu. You're immediately transported into this post-apocalyptic world that's hopeless, but with a small sliver of hope peeking through with those horns that sound quite similar to horns you might find in military-esque propaganda music. Displays that though the world is gone, it's the Gears who are going to be our saviors at the end of the day. There's two ways I could talk about Gears of War. There's only speaking from the context that one provides, which we all know is the same amount of people Ninja got dancing on New Year's, or use the context from the other games, and outside. And here, we're going to do both. Because I remember playing Gears as a kid, and I loved it so much, and I want to share my childhood with y'all a bit. What's E-Day? Who's this dude? Why is he in prison? You're only going to get answers to one of those questions, and it's honestly Gears of War's biggest strength that it doesn't dive deep into the narrative, keeping its focus tightly on the gameplay. And also, what the f*** are these things? We actually do find out, and thank God, don't get used to it, but we see Marcus not even batting an eye about these terrifying creatures, showing he's either seen some shit in his time, or that he's just given up on caring about life. Or it shows how long he's been in here to the point he couldn't care less about the rats. But actually shows he doesn't care about lives, as this place is under attack and he has no care in the world about seeing the locust accosting him.
Not anymore. Things have changed. We better go.
Don't care that it's technically not the Gears theme. It is to me. Hearing in the menus and it being the first music tied to Marcus and Dom, I'll be damned before I say otherwise. I love this track in all its melancholic glory.
They're gone. Hoffman pardoned everybody.
Is that right?
Welcome back to the army, soldier.
Pardoned. More like conscripted. Again, COG gave food and housing to those who joined up in the army. Hence, Marcus' sarcastic, "Is that right?" He knows damn well Hoffman wouldn't have pardoned him without benefit. Shows us that Marcus is quick-witted and doesn't miss much, except for maybe a truck with his best friend.
Or we can go through the prison blocks and get right into the fight. Your choice.
We need more of this in games. Always. Forever. Never not. I love having the option to trial by fire and figure out the controls and mechanics than just getting my hand held.
Let's take the prison blocks. I'm ready to kick some ass.
Did Gears really do a lot of heavy lifting of creating the stigma of dude bro gaming culture? Absolutely. With the help of its cousin COD, the late 2000s and early teens were dominated by the mindset that these games were made by boys for boys. No girls allowed. And as a kid growing up with these games, no girls were allowed. Only me and my cousin trying to get to Wave 15 Gears 2 Horde mode and never actually getting there. Is the dude bro era of gaming the best? That's for you to decide. But it is for sure a memorable time in gaming history that we can look to Gears as a fun reminder of. Gears walks that line between post-apocalypse shooter and horror shooter every other moment, it feels like. Something that we've all noticed slowly went to the wayside with future Gears games, and it's what makes Gears still stand out.
What the hell's been going on in this prison?
You don't want to know.
Pretty much Epic Games' answer to everything story, world, and pretty much anything that isn't gameplay related. And yeah, you heard me, Epic Games was the lead developer on this title. We've gone from this to this. Are we evolving backwards? I don't know, but I do miss the grounded, gritty nature of Gears very much. Gears, knowing what its goal is, doesn't waste any time showing us the crazy bits. We all saw the Mad World trailer, and there was no need to try and make the Corpser a big reveal. Eating the camera for a natural fade to black. I like it. The Lancer has already got blood all over it. Little storytelling beats are found all over like this. COG is running out of men and fresh weapons. Probably a Carmine that had it previously.
Hey, are you the Marcus Phoenix? The one who fought at Asfield Fields?
We never learn more about this during Gears, but it alludes to a larger world and story out there. And it seems Gears' prerogative to constantly hint at the larger narrative and never get to it as to focus on the gameplay.
The one who fought at Asfield Fields?
Yep.
Wow, cool!
Not really.
If you're wondering why the wars are failing and they need Marcus, look no further than this interaction. Fresh meat is all excited and having fun with war, while Marcus has paid the price of it. Don't worry, F-Man. You'll get your time. For the definitive edition, Gears got a facelift, and nowhere more than the cutscenes. Some are completely recreated, offering a more cinematic experience, such as Marcus emerging from the darkness at the start, or this grunt meeting God. They didn't need to do this, and we still would have loved it. But that's not saying much in this age of remakes and masters.
We have a plan to end this war, once and for all.
Yeah, right.
We've got 5 more games and all the spin-offs to create. Epic, probably.
I expect you to give me 110%, Phoenix.
I'm not doing this for you.
Who is he doing it for? I really wonder. I bet we'll find out about this cryptic line later. It's the world design of Gears that tells most of the story. We've got these towering buildings with architecture that we can only imagine its beauty in its time. Pictures of presumed lost family members in the church, a statue holding a cog. It all makes you wonder, did COG create their own religion around the military-industrial complex? Did people actually worship them? And just from there, you can get real weird with interpretation. Is the Locust divine retribution for humanity swinging too far into the MIC? Were people forced to worship instead of choosing? As we'll see later, that people detest the Gears. We all know the answers now, but back in 2006, we had no idea what anything could be or mean. The Locusts are actually kind of scary, at least for a 10-year-old kid. They were terrifying. It made me want to put them in the dirt even harder. Even back on the original 360 game, it still holds up amazingly well. All the Definitive Edition really did was clean up some of the textures and lighting. Everything from battle arenas and the art design were left unchanged. The gray and brown palette do help it age as it hides many imperfections. Plus, it's a broken world. We wouldn't expect things to look so nice, so in a way, the older version of the game fits the atmosphere even more than the footage you're seeing. With all the gray and brown, it makes the little bits of color we do get pop. The blue of our Gears or red from the Locust always brighten up the scene. More so in later titles when everything is sunshine and rainbows.
Cog tags are gone.
Cog tags, dog tags. It's fun, it rhymes. Woo! More fun fade blacks. Gears has got a very slow pace of gameplay compared to its contemporaries at the time, having to slowly grind your gears forward against the onslaught of enemies. This made the small choices like weapons and flanking routes feel impactful. Do I Nasher it up while Dom stays back and I flank? Do we take them head on together at range, or just Rhodey run in there faster than Dom driving a truck into you-know-what? It doesn't get more iconic than that, does it? What's left to say about it other than...
That's awesome.
Looks like we need to split up.
These are fun, especially when playing co-op. Getting split up from your buddy when playing on the couch brings back good memories of making fun of each other when the other goes down and giving them shit that it wouldn't have happened if you were there. Which brings me to the co-op. Much of Gears was made with it in mind. Between the mini flanking sections, the splitting up, and the god-awful turret mission with the krill, you're gonna want a buddy for that one at least. I miss first-person shooters and third-person shooter games like this being made with couch co-op in mind. Better yet, miss when it was an assumed expected thing in any multiplayer game, but now has become relegated to very specific games like It Takes Two or obvious party games. Looking at you, Halo Infinite! Thank God Gears 5 did do away with local co-op.
It keeps jamming.
It's not just him d***ing around out of cover, but dude pulling the trigger as he aims his weapon towards concrete. I mean, what the f***? The Carmines might love the fight, but damn do they now know how to do it.
See?
But we all know who's not seeing now. And the beginning of the Carmine curse.
But the radios don't work for shit, sir.
Keeping respect to your superior.
Coal? As in the coal train?
Yeah, that's right.
Coltrane is actually played by a real-life professional football player and wrestler, Lester Splight. Talk about having experience in the field. You could have gotten a voice actor, or you can get an actor who has done it.
We're Delta Squad. We're here to retrieve the sonic device.
And to get you guys out of here.
Leave DeMarcus to be the one who cares about extraction over all else. I wonder what his dad thinks of this.
Remember this guy? He played for the Cougars, defensive lineman.
In case you weren't sure that COG was recruiting just about everyone they could.
I remember you owe me $20.
Oh yeah? See me after the war.
Do I keep making jokes about it?
Hold here. Jack, decloak and rip this door.
Had no clue Jack was with us the whole time. A little surprised, but no attention brought to it because it's a normal thing for these guys. It's cool. Me when my mom would try to wake me up from school in the morning. It's hold-up bits like these that made Epic realize the potential of Horde mode, releasing days before World at War even came out. So who really did it first? Power Instinct. The answer is Power Instinct. The Hammer at Dawn is badass and understandably opened up a boatload of questions in the story. I imagine the Hammer was a cool weapon idea with no backstory that ballooned into the super weapon that basically ends the Pendulum Wars. Art is always fun like that, when you start at the badass endpoint and then figure out how we got there.
It only works outside, and even then, only when the satellites are overhead.
In other words, don't expect to get to use this badass broken WMD whenever you want. And that's fair. Obviously don't want to trivialize the game, and also want to make the Hammer feel special. Active Reload gives us something to do when behind cover, and we're going to be behind cover a lot. Active Reload is something that I love in every single game. I'm mostly playing these for story, and constantly reloading gets tiresome, and so I like the minigame. It adds a lot. Even though we're slow lumbering brutes, our finesse with weaponry feels really great because of the mechanic, especially when we pull a Carmine and jam. And then we just feel dumb. But good kind of dumb. Speaking of brutes, Epic purposely wanted the overall movement to be a bit unwieldy, a bit clunky and slow. Highlights the tank nature of the Gears. Gears, how when we're running, we feel like a coal train coming into Wreck House. It's why Ruddy Run has the low angle camera shake and minimal directional control. It's also intentional to not give a reticle to the Troikas to really make them this garden hose of bullets.
Where's Rojas?
Originally, Gears was meant to be much more Band of Brothers instead of Predator. We get glimpses of that throughout, but much more so in the sequels. Even in death, Carmine's dying again. Also foreshadowing that they are
family-friendly YouTuber.
In case you weren't sure Ran was the real deal, straight up just catches our one-shot move like Carmine catches the bullet. A dolly zoom, what almost feels like for the sake of it, but nah. It's Marcus truly realizing for a moment that he might truly be c***ed. Ha ha, they're funny. Calling this China shop with our lady friend to come. Didn't know that berserkers are ladies. Me neither, but now I do. So, shit, are the locusts from Arkham? Because what's up with them juicing with Titan? And just when you think it can't get any worse with the locusts, it always gets worse. That's the best part of playing Gears, is wondering what the next abomination that's going to pop up out of the ground is going to be. As a kid, I thought everyone with the cog helmet was Carmine. Like, it was a rank or something, and they were fun little red shirts to get. And, like, yeah, they still are. I love that they're used to display the power of new enemies.
We came here to help you, and that's what we're gonna do.
Gotta listen to Jake the dog. I mean Bender. I mean Dr. Dragon. John DiMaggio never misses, and his Marcus has got a beautiful rasp that makes my straight knees buckle. Can always get behind developers shaking up the core gameplay for a little variety in a boss. She sounds almost like a dino from Jurassic Park, but more so like an unstoppable dive bomber, which, like, she is. I also like splitting up a co-op as you and your buddy both feel like you're in charge versus whoever Marcus is being the big nuts. Gotta love the boomer. Seeing them pop up in battle and needing to have all focus on them before things get out of hand.
These guys are almost as big as you, Cole.
Yeah, almost.
Reverse humility. Sometimes you gotta walk around with the big head. We also don't have a reticle until we ADS, and even then it's not pitch perfect with its bloom. Epic wanted these fights to feel a bit desperate. Not being able to have pinpoint accuracy was one of the ways they achieved this. And also with the enemies being quite spongy, it takes half a mag sometimes to take down one drone. But it's never so egregious that you're feeling cheated like Far Cry 6 bullet sponge enemies, for example. And to top it all off, there's the weightiness of the gunplay. When shooting enemies or turning them into little gibbly bits, the physics feel very grounded, which in tandem with the presentation is what gives Gears 1 that iconic and gritty feeling that later ones have somewhat lost.
It's still coming!
This is bullshit.
We get to play in the game exactly what the Mad World trailer showed us, which doesn't always happen, especially didn't expect it with how stylized the trailer seemed. But we get chased by a corpse until we're forced to fight him, just like in it. For the first time, we get to see how the other half live, and it's not pretty. It does make you wonder what could be so bad about the COG that makes people risk these rickety defenses versus joining up with the Coalition.
I don't want people seeing me with you, all right? It's not good for business, man.
Want to know what else ain't good for business? Humanoid bug name things running around. In case it wasn't dire and scary enough, let's make it rapidly dark time, like it's the Krill themselves honing the sun to their will. Also feel like vampire bats or something, and with how they devour humans, I don't feel too far off.
Somebody here figured out that Cole played Thrashball. Now it's all, oh, Cole Train, tell us all about that play again.
See the Band of Brothers vibe? Definitely the most entertaining part of Gears outside of the combat. Their rapport is second to none with each other. Instead of giving a tutorial how the Krill work when they first come out, we're shown through the world how they work and what we've got to do to avoid them. Gears, in all actuality, is really sparse on in-your-face tutorials, which is obviously because of its simplicity, but is so welcome.
People out here aren't gonna like that, Marcus. They use that
It's either that or they kill us.
And the Gears wonder why nobody really likes them. Breaking the propane brings a whole new level to grinding the front line forward. In case you weren't sure that the Gears are strong as f***. I mean, just look at them. Boys never skip leg day. Being able to move this motherfucker, nothing but rims and shit. And the definition of two-piece was born. Close enough, at least. Did anyone else do 1v1s with only Nashers against a buddy? The Krill are a really fun element added into firefights. Having to deal with an enemy you can't fight directly is a novel obstacle for these tanks of human flesh.
But you guys are welcome to come back. Anytime, you know?
Copy that.
Marcus always keeping cool, calm, and collected. Epic knew what they're doing with this beat. Walking with a buddy and toying with him that you're gonna steal away his little safety blanket is too much fun.
I screw up, I'll never see your ass again.
He's got a point.
Lights still on? Uh-oh. Ah, I'm just playing with you.
My man's got jokes. Just like the Gears, even our vehicles have got to be as chunky as can be. Well, no need to worry about the strength of this ride no more. This is when having a buddy really shines.
Won't work. These doors are too thick.
Oh, poor Jack. Little guy just wants to be helpful.
I'll be sure to take that under advisement, Cole. Now move it.
Yes, sir!
So many things would go more smoothly if people could just drop the ego and do what is needed for a change. Not us, of course. We're perfect, guys. I miss older titles where the most they really had to offer to change the gameplay was a constant onslaught of new enemy types or very niche gameplay experiences slash mechanics you'll never barely see again. Having the game be shorter as a consequence of this, but not also be bloated with the 14 tailing missions AC4.
Watch out for the boogeyman.
Even Bayard knows this level is going to be a lot of jump scare and horror bits.
Cease fire!
Dipshit. Not yet. Come on. Dipshit.
I'd pay Marcus Phoenix to call me a dipshit.
You gears all suck! Bunch of bloodthirsty fascist pigs.
Human nature, am I right? One moment counting his lucky stars being saved by some gears, and the next talking shit because he didn't get what he wanted. Especially since they're trying to help the situation of the Locust, and he didn't even think twice before casting judgment. This floor is the most rage-inducing thing since trying to beat all of Battletoads. This game really does have it all. Great gameplay, scary monsters, and Minecraft.
We ran into a problem. You and Cole are gonna have to find an alternate route.
Naturally.
Barrett's starting to lampshade the developer's game design. Crazy to think about Emulsion and how important it is to the story, and we don't get anything about it here, about this factory. Nothing. We just see this as alien lava, but it's indicative of this game's development cycle, which was to put gameplay first. 90% of this game was actually made, and all the levels created before even a lick of story was written for it. Gears was all focused on gameplay, and with how it took the world by storm, and even almost 20 years later, how tight it still is, I'd say it was worth giving less story than a first-grade show and tell. Oh, nice! It's not the final boss of the game. I'd assume as much, since this cutie pie has been chasing us since the start of the game, like police trying to hit the quotas at the end of the month. And I mean, it's kind of cute, right? Like when Sheila was hiding her face after being cut by sand. You can't help but feel for these kinds of creatures sometimes. Just me? Alright. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we love Marcus freaking Phoenix. Emulsion is really pretty, though. Kind of looks like the Gatorade commercials where they'd sweat out the Gatorade. And with it being an energy source, I bet it would make us say, "It's in me." There actually was an Emulsion Gears branded energy drink that's been discontinued we could buy. I guess people didn't think drinking a video game equivalent to oil was that interesting. The torque bow, baby! This is what separated the boys from the men back in the multiplayer days.
I mean, that lousy resonator didn't deliver the goods.
Why does every high-ranked military dude sound the same? I swear, a few good men did something to our media.
Form up!
Oh my gosh, that just reminded me that TACCOM still exists in this game. A super niche feature that had the right idea but wrong bit. This is a super itty bitty baby wavy version of the system we'll see in Mass Effect, the Tom Clancy series, and... What? Halo 5? Why?
What can I say? Old habits are hard to break.
What can I say? Having the ego sometimes brings along fun dialogue. Oh no, it must have been here where they were inspired to create Horde mode.
This date just won't end.
Yeah, at least in prison they gave me 3 hots and a cot.
Marcus is onto something. I had a buddy who was not in a great place in his life and decided that the best place for him was to serve a bit of time in jail so he could get some food and set his mind right. If prison feels more favorable than the COG, maybe the Stranded are onto something. Alright, Epic set us up for that one. I can't be the only one that got turned into a pig on a slaughterhouse floor here. Adding more layers, like an onion, to the Berserker fight, having to destroy the columns to get the clear sky. And like good games of old, they don't mention anything about how to do it, or after a while explicitly tell you how. Looking at you, God of War Ragnarok. Gears is also quite a hard game. You've really got to use your cover and not get flanked because even on casual, you're gonna die fast. God, I love the sound design. Something Oberyn could never see coming. And the bull talk. Seriously, all the weapons except for maybe the Hammerburst feel so unique and fun to use. Popping heads and gibbon locust can never get old.
God damn, is this ever gonna end?
Not until people stop buying the games, no?
There might be locust tunnels inside.
Copy that, Anya. We are aware.
Gotta love that dries my grandma's ashes humor.
What's up, ladies? Locusts are inside.
Marcus straight up acting like he's the only one who knows. Or at least I love how I know what he is by everyone seemingly not giving too short and curlies that his family home is ransacked.
Now we can get out of this hole.
Ooh, armor doing its job for once.
The hell up, Cole.
Oh, sorry, baby.
Me and Cole bond, I feel. I used to call everyone baby, and it has led to some really awkward circumstances.
Doesn't seem possible. There can't be these many tunnels. It's a honeycomb. The planet's crust is riddled with them. They're everywhere.
Just that alone makes the locusts 10 times more terrifying, knowing that anywhere on Earth they can emerge. Wait, what? This doesn't happen on Earth? On a planet called Sarah? Why would they do that and make no distinctions other than some weird yellow goo? Oh well, the game doesn't take place on Earth, so that's cool, I guess.
Look who decided to show up.
Baird is just upset because his soul patch doesn't hold a candle to Marcus's. Oh no, this must have been the idea where they got for horde mode. Okay, I'll stop. I'm done. Dude straight up put a mine on the end of a stick and is gonna use his straight up strength to detonate it. Now, that's pretty hardcore. Makes me wonder why Saruman didn't do the same. He was already sacking Urks. Just when you think it can't get any worse. I love the brew mech. The locusts are so creative. Who needs a mech when you've got a flesh mech?
The train is leaving now. The light mass bomb is mounted and ready to deploy.
Wait, the bomb is on a train?
This is the collective reaction when the writing team found out that the levels were already created that they had to make a story for. Or more so that this entire chapter was added for the definitive edition. Oh no, this must have been the inspiration for it.
No. Just no.
Hey, stupid! You want some of this? Come and get me!
You know, I would have expected Cole to be a lineman, not a running back. Guess he's the train and the way of speed and not unstoppable. Call back to the start when Marcus is looking up at wretches with not a care in the world. You'll see no blood for emulsion signs all around the game, which is directly paralleling the real-life slogan in response to the Iraq War, no blood for oil. Gears of War came out at the exact time that the war was really brewing up and dipped its toe in that pot of media referencing the war. And it's telling just how quick E-Day happened right after the Pendulum Wars, if there are still signs around. I mean, this war is also fought over similar reasons, but you can see what I'm saying. And more propaganda, which is huge for the military-industrial complex, making COG out to be the end-all be-all. Having to kill a cedar not using Hammer of Dawn, bet we'll never see that again. Oh wow, not even 5 minutes later we do that again. Our boys are efficient. Giving me big Jurassic Park vibes right now, you know? I mean, hell, the Brumac attack chapter is even called Jurassic Proportions. And it's cool that we finally get to fight the big son of a bitch in the definitive edition.
And I thought the food in prison smelled bad.
Gotta have your heroic one-liners, right? Here's where originally Act 5 started. Now, the question, did we need all this extra filler? Nope. But this is a game all about its gameplay, so the more the merrier in this case. All good things come in threes, right? I like that we're finally forced to face one without a Hammer of Dawn. We've got to think our way out of this one. The presentation here really makes it feel like it's the end times. The locusts blotting out the sun to make room for the krill. My man straight up sounded like the Patriarch from Killing Floor. Ram is a tough boss fight for all the wrong reasons, but it is interesting because he forces us to throw out everything we knew about combat encounters and face him differently. Finally earning and showing some respect for the man that did it. And we get a long hold on these two sides that make Marcus, his family and his military family.
But you have my word that we will rise again.
Oh, the corny cliche and monologue from the military man and cut to...
They do not understand.
What?
They do not know why we wage this war. Why we cannot stop, will not stop.
Oh, what the f***? A human lady is running the locust? Okay, now that is some good sequel bait right there. The locust queen can fly. Of course she can. There's a whole other locust creature we've never seen? Oh, when's my second game coming out? These developer notes are really cute, but what is truly cute is Killtran's song. Totally just stealing away any lasting tone the end wanted to leave the player with and reminding us just how much fun we had with our boys. Gears of War is a hallmark classic of the 360 era, and again, I think we all remember fondly. Looking back on it, it reminds me of a time when gaming was so simple. Just purchase the game and there you go. No politics, no microtransactions. The entire game actually came on the disc. It was a simpler time, which is actually what made Gears quite hard to talk about and what makes it so great. Gears doesn't pretend that it's anything other than big men shooting weird aliens. It's not trying to make commentary on war or telling a moving story that'll bring you to tears. Those come later. But with one, it's just straight up plain goopy gamer mode. Shoot stuff and move through the level, which normally I'd take issue with, but the gameplay is so solid, you can't help but enjoy yourself. And then there's the multiplayer that was just checked on right at the end by Epic, and oh my god, how was I obsessed. I grew up a PlayStation kid, so I always had to wait to see my cousin to play Gears of War. But you know damn well, I was always trying to get on that grind with him. Especially 2 is where most of my memories with the franchise lie. Playing Gears again so many years later on PC and 4K has been a treat, and again, why I love doing all this for you. Getting to experience the games again, I wouldn't even think twice about picking up. When did y'all first play Gears? Were you as young as me? Did it take over your life as well? Let me know, and as always, drive the speed limit, drink some water, love one another. Pizza!